Hey guys, so welcome back to episode 15 of the Pity to Purpose podcast. Here I'm going to help you strengthen your relationship with God, to help you position yourself for your greater life purpose and to thrive in all that God has created you to do and be. I am your host, Parker Seymour, and in this week's new episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways that I benefited from fasting from social media for 30 days. So some of you may know that a little over a month ago, I went on a 30-day detox from social media, just to go in a deeper place of focus and re-strategize and gain more clarity in some of the different things of my this current season of my life. And if you did miss it, you can actually go back and listen or watch episode 10, where I discussed 3 main reasons for this break. And just like I mentioned, I want this episode to kind of just share with you where I am right now with social media and where I stand with it, being a part of the things that I'm doing right now with my clothing brand and this podcast. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first great benefit was the amount of time that I got back, which quickly led to higher levels of productivity, which I'm going to break down for you. This was probably my biggest takeaway, because once I deleted my social media apps, it eventually started a domino effect of achieving greater levels of productivity. To be fair though, my first week without social media was a bit of a shock, just because this whole year basically I was building daily consistency by posting, but then for me just to stop altogether, it was a bit of a weird transition. And I just didn't realize how much time I was actually putting towards Instagram until I just took that time off altogether. And eventually, with this break, I just took all of that energy and I put it back into my YouTube channel, and I built it back up to a lot better place. I just refined it up a lot. And I went from 1 week or posting 1 video a week to now posting up to 4 videos a week, just by chopping up my podcast episode into smaller bite-sized pieces, just for some of you who may not be able to listen to or watch the fuller length episodes. And with this, I just began refocusing and re-strategizing my workflow and managing my time better. I went from taking a week to completing just 1 podcast episode, down to compressing the entire workflow into an 8-hour time frame and having all of the work completed by Monday evening each week. And with this new system, I actually managed to double up on my episodes at the beginning, and now I'm a week ahead on my podcast episodes. So by front loading my work week and completing podcast episodes by Monday, it opened up my week to have more time to work more hours in other places. So once I restructured my schedule, God pretty much immediately opened up new opportunities for me to work more hours in other places. So all of that I gained just by taking a break from social media and being more productive in other areas. I got a lot of my time back, in which that yielded a lot of focus and mental clarity. So that is going to lead into my second takeaway, which was mental clarity and focus. I understand social media plays a very important role in building your brand, because it does create that additional exposure. But when it starts to consume your overall focus and you fall behind in the actual things that do move the needle within your brands or businesses, then that's where there can be an actual issue. And like I've mentioned previously, when I took this break, I took that additional time and energy and I put it back into this podcast, and I made some massive improvements to my YouTube channel and my overall commitment and structure to growing it, and really just being more intentional about creating content on that platform altogether. And you can't see it behind me, but I finally gotten my heat press and my vinyl cutter just so I can make my own t-shirts here at home for my clothing business. And so with that, No Pity Parties just took one massive leap forward, and it just keeps getting closer and closer to its official launch. And that's just to show you that because I was able to take my time back from social media, I was able to gain more clarity and focus and put it back into the things that are actually moving the needle within my brand. So my final big takeaway is because of how successful this turned out to be. Right now, I'm just not sure if I want to go back to how I was doing social media originally. And I actually had a difficult time conceptualizing this last point, just because I just really don't know where I stand right now with social media and how I personally want to be involved with it. I've genuinely enjoyed my time off and having the ability to put that extra time towards other things that matter more to me. Like I've already mentioned earlier, I've gained so much of my life back during this time, and I've just advanced so much further within all these other things. Now, like I was saying, I do understand the importance of using social media as a tool to build your brand, because there was actually a few times that I wanted to go back to Facebook for research purposes on another side project. So I do get it. Social media definitely has its benefits in the online business space. But for me personally, what I can't go back to is letting myself slowly slip back into a place where growing my online social presence becomes my ultimate focus, instead of the other things that are actually moving the game pieces within my brand. I'm totally in favor of the idea of hiring even a social media manager, but maybe sometime in the future. But for right now, maybe what I could do is maybe more of these smaller scale fasts, or I could really limit just my daily consumption of social media. But ultimately, what I know I can't do is I can't go full ghost mode, because I know that there has been some people that have kind of expressed to me on social media, and you've showed me that what I do does impact you in some positive ways, and I'm truly thankful for that. And aside from God, it is people like you who truly benefit that I'm doing this for, So at the end of the day, I don't want to rob people of the opportunity of being impacted in a positive way. So, like I said, this is very open-ended, but maybe that's a good thing, because this is where I want to invite you in to maybe share with me your social media strategies. Maybe you're someone with an online brand and you've absolutely nailed your online social presence, and maybe this could be a perfect opportunity for us to start connecting deeper. So if you're watching here on YouTube and you have some ideas, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. So there you have it, guys. Those were some of my major takeaways from this 30-day social media fast. I've grown a lot, and I'm definitely looking forward to how this will yield to future results. A big reason I'm doing this particular episode is because I know at some point the information here is going to really resonate with the right person. And I want these testimonies to give you new perspectives on, some things that you could do and show you what's really possible. And so right now, if you're in a place where you're feeling burned out with social media and you're feeling like you're at a dead end, I just would highly encourage you to take a break from it. You've seen just my personal testimony, what a fast can yield and the success it can bring. Maybe it doesn't have to be for 30 days. And one time in the past, I took just 7 days off from creating content in general, and I came back with this podcast. There's power in putting some things down for a season just to take time to self-reflect and refocus and re-strategize. So if this is for someone, I just hope you receive it and just run with it. So my mission with this podcast is to gear up and equip Christians everywhere to strengthen their faith, to position themselves in a place ready to walk in their fuller potential and thrive in a greater life purpose. If you feel like the information I shared today benefited you in some way, definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already. So that is all I have for you in this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in with me to another episode. Again, I am your host, Parker Seymour. And again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the links in the description box below. And we will see you next week in another Pity to Purpose episode.